If you don't know her, Tonya is a functional nutritional therapy practitioner and co-coach inside the Perimenopause Method. I and our clients would be totally lost without her. She is also a wife, mother of two college boys, and you have pets as well. So she gets how busy life can be in midlife. Welcome, my friend.
Hello, how are you?
Good. I wanted to have you on because I really do believe that your story will help other women. You have lived through perimenopause and you are now on the other side of it.
I am. Yes,
Yeah,
I am.
it's been quite a journey. So I'm really excited to have you share that with our listeners today.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about when you first started to notice changes in your body that made you realize that something was off?
Um, so the thing is, I think I'm now looking at it in hindsight and realizing I was in perimenopause
Mhm.
earlier than I thought because I didn't notice any of the symptoms or tie any of the symptoms I was having necessarily to perimenopause until my cycle just stopped.
Yeah.
So, looking back, I started to have night sweats and I thought, well, I had a glass of wine, maybe it's that. Or I was short with people, maybe I'm just, I'm a mom, I'm busy, I'm super stressed out. So it's just that. PMS, maybe, who knows? Or I had zero libido, like
Mm.
totally gone. So I didn't really tie any of those things to perimenopause or think that was the case because I was 46, 47. I was
Mm.
really young. And then my cycle just one day stopped. I wasn't one that had heavy periods, light periods. There was no, like, oh, something's going on here. It was there and then it wasn't. And then that's
Mhm.
when the symptoms really took over. And I was like, oh, this is not, this is not it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So low libido was a big one. You were short with people. Those are some of the things that we hear from our clients as well.
Yeah.
So then your period just stopped. You were how old?
47. I was like
47.
47 and a half.
So
Yeah.
you stopped getting them and then for
I
12
for
months
an entire
consecutive.
year.
Okay.
Yep. So I hit my menopause date was when I was 48 years old,
48.
which is really, you know, young. I mean, I'm 50 now and I still have friends who are cycling regularly. And there's a little piece of me that goes, oh, it makes you a little like, why was I so early? Why did that happen to me? And there's no real rhyme or reason to it is what I've come to realize. And I mean, we see it every day with the different ages and stages that our clients are at. And so, yeah, I thought it was a little young, but it is what it is. It didn't come back. I will say though, at 47, when my period just stopped, I was taking pregnancy tests because I was like, what the
Yeah.
heck's going on here? Just
Right.
a little bit of panic.
Yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of women worry about. And I mean, we could
Yeah.
even go down the rabbit hole of birth control, but that's a big concern. It's like, well, a lot of women are like, I don't want to take birth control, but at the same time, I realize I could still get pregnant. And some women don't realize that they could still get pregnant in their perimenopausal years.
Oh,
Um,
100%. Yeah.
there's some oopsie babies for some people.
Yes,
Yeah.
there are. I know a
Yeah.
few.
Yeah. So, it's a matter of we could talk about HRT later, but a lot of women want to go on, bioidentical, body identical hormones, but they
Mhm.
also want to make sure that they have some sort of contraception in place
Yeah.
to avoid pregnancy. So it can be challenging to
Yeah.
say the
Well, it's all
least.
the women who keep the marina in, and especially because their OBGYN is telling them, well, keep the marina. It's going to keep your periods from being so heavy and crampy, and it's going to protect you. So it's going to, squash some of those symptoms and also prevent pregnancy. But at the same time, it's not doing what hormones would do.
So when you started dealing with this, like were you going to doctors and were you, because it seems like you didn't really know it was some of the symptoms were tied to perimenopause.
Yeah.
But you were knowledgeable about it, like me. I mean, I had a clue, like, okay, this is hormone stuff. Like, I know what to do, but most women are just going to their doctor, getting dismissed. So, what was your
Yeah.
experience?
Well, I feel like number one, maybe I was in a bit of denial because I was only 47,
Yeah.
right? I was like, I am healthy. I do all the things. I eat right. I exercise. Like, this is what I do for a living. I'm 47. I would know, right? And
Yeah.
I didn't. So, but the other thing is, I didn't necessarily run right to my OBGYN because when I was younger at 42, and this is getting into that hormonal birth control, when I had stopped my hormonal birth control,
Mhm.
I never got a period back. It never came back. And
Wow.
my OBGYN at the time tested my FSH and my LH. That was
Mhm.
it. He didn't run a full hormone panel. He didn't do anything else. He looked at my FSH. It was super high. And he said, "You're in menopause." And I was 42. And he goes, "Well, we can just keep you on the birth control pill. I usually keep women on birth control pills till they're like 50, until they're like through menopause, and they don't have to worry about getting pregnant. They don't have to deal with the symptoms and whatever." So
Mm.
at 47, when this was happening, I wasn't going to go to him.
Yeah.
I already knew what he was going to tell me.
Right.
So I kind of just was like, well, I'm not in menopause yet. I'm getting there. Right. And so I was like, well, I'll just have to take supplements or do something to kind of squash the symptoms until I can get to the point that I can get on hormones.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I looked at it. And part of the reason I didn't go to someone immediately was because it's really hard to find a good provider. And I was,
Oh yeah.
if I was doing it now, I would have so many choices, but
Right.
you'd be surprised how many places have popped up between then and now, like telehealth
Hmm.
options and stuff that just
Yep.
weren't available then. So I
Yeah.
was looking locally and struggling to
Hmm.
find someone who I knew would help me.
Yeah, it really is kind of crazy how much this space has changed in the last few years. I mean, I think it's a good
Yeah.
thing that there's so much more awareness about perimenopause, thanks to people like us who talk about it.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time.
I'm always like, don't get me started because I don't stop.
Yeah.
You want to talk hormones?
Um,
I can talk all day.
Really? I mean, because for so many years we didn't have this information. So I'm glad that it's out there, but I also know how overwhelming it can be to choose a good provider and to find somebody who really does know about hormones. And you and I are lucky in that we have the education. So we know what to look for and what to avoid, but most women don't.
Right.
So, you've like, can you tell a little bit about that? Like, what has it been like finding an HRT provider?
Well, so not easy. I'm on my third HRT provider at this point.
Hmm.
Um, I started with creams with one provider. Just we didn't connect. We weren't a good fit, and that's part of you need to find a provider that is a good fit for you too. He didn't value my knowledge and my education, and I want someone who understands that I know what I'm talking about. I know the space. I know my
Hmm.
options. I also know my body,
Yes.
and he didn't seem to value that. So we had to move on from that provider.
Hmm.
I found another provider, then they moved to concierge medicine. So it's been a bit of a struggle. I've used creams right along, and oral progesterone. And I've my estrogen has to get it to where I need to be has been so difficult. There are so many forms available. I never wanted to try a patch because I go in the sauna all the time.
Yep.
There's just certain things, which is why we always tell clients, educate yourself because you want to know what you're looking for when you go to a provider. Like you don't want to walk into a provider not having a clue and they're sticking a pellet in your ass.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like
Exactly.
I'm not doing that. Like, I mean, I've
Right.
interviewed other providers. I interviewed another one not that long ago and she was like, "Oh, I just do pellets and all testosterone." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're not for me either."
Wow.
So it's been a bit of a struggle, but I have providers now who I really love. They're super knowledgeable
Hmm.
and I'm pretty happy. It's fairly new, but I feel great actually. And they've got my estrogen dose good. My blood works Thursday, so fingers crossed. It's where I want
Yeah.
it to be.
Right. It's come up a bit. I know that was a challenge for you, just trying to get your estrogen up. And again, like we are people who are knowledgeable in the space. We know the things to do, but it is a matter of finding what works for you. And there are so many different HRT options, which again is a good thing, but it can also be overwhelming for somebody who doesn't have the education around it or the guidance
Yeah.
to find what works for you. And unfortunately, like you said, there are providers who just have one way of doing things, which is a red flag in our book.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and the thing is, I think all of our clients think this too. It's a process. It really is because your body is continuing to change. I
Hmm.
thought I was in a good place and I felt pretty good, but then all of a sudden, my body wasn't necessarily absorbing the cream anymore. And maybe they changed the base of it. Who knows?
Yeah.
And I noticed my skin was dry. And the weight started to pack on, and I hadn't done anything differently.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay. And my number dropped. I mean, my estrogen, after being on estrogen for over a year, went down to like, below 5. What
Wow.
the heck
I
is happening
remember.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, and I felt lousy, I mean,
Mhm.
my skin it ages you so quickly. I was like, oh my God, what is happening? And it's crazy because, again, this is the space that we're in all the time. And for it to be such a struggle, even for us to get to the right providers, the right products, the right dose, it's a
Yeah.
process. And unfortunately, women just have to be patient through it.
Oh yeah. So much patience.
So much. Yeah. I mean, and you have to know, I say it all the time, it's not set it and forget it.
Our society set up for everything is convenient, and it's like everything is only a program or a diet that should be for a limited amount of time, and it's not. This is a lifestyle change. If you want to optimize your health as you get older, you're overhauling your lifestyle. You're moving differently, you're eating differently, and hormone therapy is no different. Like, and I've said
Yeah.
this on other episodes that if you go through certain time, like maybe you have a stressful event or you have a surgery or you're just getting closer to menopause, your HRT regimen will likely change, or your absorption may even change. Like I had started on estrogen patches and I was like, this is amazing. Like I felt so great for, I don't know, maybe a year or so. And then I slowly had to keep increasing. And I was like, okay, I'm at the top patch now. What's going on here? I couldn't get my levels up better. I was starting to feel not so great. And then I switched to something else. And then I switched to like, so I've gone through a few different types of HRT as well. And right now I'm at a good place, but who knows? In a couple of months or even a year or two, I may have to change again. Some women end up having to do injections, which you and I have obviously discussed behind the scenes because we're like, we need our
Yeah.
estrogen, damn it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's the whole process is crazy. It really is. There's no other way to describe it. I mean, the women are struggling. They're looking for answers, and they're out there. It's just finding the right provider, the right dose, the right method. It's a lot. And in addition to that, your body's going to keep changing. And so then you're adding on all the other things that you have to do to make yourself feel your best. I mean, because
Yeah.
that's what we talk about. We want
Yeah.
to feel our best moving forward. Listen, I'm a newly empty nester and
Hmm.
I'm doing really good with it. I'm saying that now because that's how we hide the tears.
Yeah.
but like, but the thing is, I have more free time than I've had.
Hmm.
Not really. We're traveling a ton. I'm super busy, but like I want to feel good and be able to do the things like travel, go on hikes with my husband and do, just enjoy this time that we have. So I want to feel good.
Yep.
And as your body keeps changing or whatever, you have to work hard to feel good. it's,
Yeah. I mean, a lot of women say, oh, it feels like a full-time job. I'm like, well, it kind of is.
it is. Yeah.
I mean, this is your life, it's like, it's almost like it's a nuisance. And yeah, we joke around about it, but it's also like, it's a privilege. And I know that sounds cliche, but it is a privilege that we can take care of ourselves and that we can age where so many people don't. So, there's
Yeah.
obviously so many people who are so sick in our society. Heart disease is running rampant, especially for women, and that's not talked about enough. So
No.
if you really do want to age well and stick around for a while, you got to make these changes and, just put your big girl panties on. I mean,
Yeah.
you and I bitch about like, oh, we have to count our steps and oh, how much I was texting Tonya the other day about my macros. I'm like, am I doing this right? I feel like I'm not weighing properly. And, but it's fine. It actually can be fun, especially when you start to see results and you start to feel better and not just physical results. And I know that that's a huge thing. Obviously we want to look good, but when you start to feel good, it impacts everything. So can you actually talk about that? Because you did say a little bit about how you had low libido, you were kind of like moody and, reacting to people around you. Can you talk a little bit
Yeah.
about, if you want to share about like your marriage and your relationships, how it was impacted when you started to experience a lot of these symptoms?
I mean, listen, having young children in the house impacts your marriage anyway.
Hmm.
There are so many, the life, this life that we live, like society, the pressure, the social media, everything that you're trying to do. I mean, we say it all the time, like, everything has to be perfect because that's what you see on social media. So we're all running ourselves ragged,
Hmm.
trying to make an Instagram worthy life. And it's stressful and it's tiring and it's exhausting and you don't have much left at the end of the day. I want to sit on the couch. I don't want to go have sex. Like I
Right.
just, you know what I mean? Like I'm physically bone tired.
Yeah.
Um, And I don't know, my husband also started on testosterone at the same time, around the same time I did. And I was like, oh, hey, what's going on over there?
Hey, you.
Hi.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm not kidding when I tell you it probably saved our marriage. I mean,
Yeah.
Jay and I are best friends, but you feel disconnected for so long. And when your hormones are tanking, you're
Hmm.
just not going to feel, you don't have the energy, you don't have the motivation, you don't have those hormones running through your body to want to
Yeah.
do any of those things. So, I mean, really, it has helped a ton. It's also stabilized my mood. I'm not so crazy anymore,
Yeah.
which is helpful. I really truly think like that alone, because we talk about this all the time as well. We talk about a lot all the time, don't we?
Hmm.
that,
Oh, we do.
but like, sex is important in a marriage. It just is. Connecting with your spouse is important. And I mean, it's critically important for a healthy, successful marriage. It helps in all areas.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I definitely think this has been helpful.
Yeah. And I know that could be a little triggering for some people. It used to be for me because, and I've shared this in previous podcasts, how Mike and I went through quite a a drought. I'll say that
Yeah.
because of a lot. And it was, yes, hormones for me, but also his hormones. Like he had really low testosterone. He's on it now, and it has certainly made a difference. But also life, and we don't have kids. We have a very demanding pet, a dog. But we have stress too, right? I run a business. He works crazy hours. We have family demands. I mean, we have a
Yeah.
very big family. There's always something.
Yeah.
Parents, our aging parents that we're dealing with, and our own health stuff. Mike had some health things come up. I've had some things, especially the last couple of years, and so we get what busy is and how hard it can be to connect with your partner. But there's obviously so much we could probably do a whole other podcast episode about how to improve marriages and midlife, because that is huge, right? So many people end up divorced, but so many people aren't addressing this physiological hormone piece. And
Hmm.
I know that's been huge
Yeah.
for us. And like you said, it's been huge for you and your husband. So, what are some of the biggest changes that you have made or really dialed in on to feel good? Obviously, in addition to the hormones, we
Hmm.
often say how hormones are one piece of the midlife puzzle. So, what are things that you have really focused your time and energy on?
Couple things. My diet. Um, I mean, listen, the foundations are what are important. Like you can take all the hormones or supplements or whatever, but like if your foundations aren't dialed in, it's going to be a struggle for you.
Mhm.
So I had to really work on my diet. It's not like my diet was ever bad, but
Right.
it's just so much more focused now,
Mhm.
um, less snacking. My meals are laid out, they're planned out. I track my macros. Not that I think that women need to necessarily track every bite that goes into their mouth for the rest of their lives, because that's really no way to live. But I do think it's super helpful for a bit of time to know what you're actually taking in and putting in your body, because we need protein for our muscles. And it's such a thing right now, like protein, 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 but it's true,
Yeah.
right? And we need fiber, like protein and fiber. I super focus on. I track them every day.
Mhm.
Um, I have shifted. The other thing that went kind of wonky when I hit menopause and perimenopause and whatever was my labs went all whatever. My blood sugar was pre-diabetes level. I'm like, I don't even eat sugar. Like what is
Yeah.
happening? My and my lipid profile.
Mhm.
Not, we're not big on lab ranges, what they look at for high cholesterol, but mine was high even from a functional
Yeah.
standpoint. Like my lipid panel was nasty.
Mhm.
And uh, heart disease runs in my family.
Mhm.
And so, to me, I'm like, oh my God, this is something I really need to look at. Diet was important, but then exercise. The
Mhm.
minute I upped my exercise, I started walking more, like non-negotiable. I am walking every day.
Mhm.
And lifting, I was lifting 2 days a week. I added another day. My lipids, my total cholesterol dropped by 50 points in three
Mhm.
months.
Mhm.
So you've got to move your body. Like we say it all the time, but it's true, because I
Mhm.
saw the biggest movement in my labs from moving my body. You
Yeah.
know, we sit around all day, we sit around at night, we sit at our desks all day. People aren't moving enough. And I think that's such a huge problem. And I feel so much better. You talk about, like, we were just saying how, you feel better when you're taking your hormones and taking care of yourself. The other day I was in the kitchen. It was like 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, I still feel like I could go for a run. Like, I had so much energy. And Jay was like, all right, I'm going to go watch TV. Like, what's wrong with you? And I already had like, I don't know, 15,000 steps for the day. I went to the gym. I went for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's funny. My mom always had the saying, like, tired breeds tired. She always said that. And
Mm-hmm.
if you lay around, you're going to feel like laying around. If you move your body, you're going to feel better and you're going to have more energy. And it's totally true. And in midlife, it's even more true.
Yeah, I find that too. And I don't feel good if I notice it. If I'm sitting for too long, my body's like, you got to move. So I will get up and I've started to even see what you do. You're like, oh, sometimes I'll work out at night. And there's all these like rules, there's a lot of fear in the wellness space, which we could do a whole other podcast on. Maybe we will one day when we're both on one of our rants. But even like people saying you can't exercise at night, that's going to raise your cortisol. And it's like, okay, tone it down a little bit. Some people perhaps should not be exercising at night, but some people, depending on what time you go to sleep, we're not having to wake up at 5 in the morning. Our life is quite flexible with the work that we do, thank God,
Yeah.
which we've designed. But sometimes if you can't get a workout in at a certain time, maybe you do have to get something in later on. I also started, there's days where I will do a workout at 5 o'clock, which in the past I've always worked out in the morning because I was like, well, I can't do it at night. But I'm like, sometimes in the morning it just doesn't happen, or I have other things, or I have an appointment, or whatever. Life happens. So my point is try to fit it in when you can, ladies, and don't worry about it being perfect.
Yeah. And I always say, like, 10 minutes is better than 0 minutes. Like,
Mhm.
if you don't have time to go for a full 20-minute walk, then walk around the block for 10 minutes. Like, just do something, move your body. It makes a huge difference. You feel so much better. And like I said, I saw it in my labs
Mhm.
immediately.
Yeah, one of our clients told me the other day that she's been moving her body more, and her husband has been really like alongside her on this journey as she's going through
Hmm.
our program, which is amazing when you have a good support system.
Right.
And she said that I think they have, it's one of our clients who has 3 or 4 kids. We have a lot of clients right now who have a lot of children, which is funny as I am child free. And then a lot of our clients join and they're, have 3, 4 kids, which shows you that women are drowning and women need support, especially when you have a lot of children to care for. And they often put themselves on the back burner, but it's nice to see these women enrolling in our program because they are prioritizing their health and they want to be good examples for their kids. But anyway, this one client said that her and her husband, they will walk around their backyard and just do laps and talk while the kids are playing.
Oh, that's
And
perfect.
I was like, that is like such a great solution. Everybody gets outside, the kids are moving their body, they're moving their body, and they're connecting at the same time. Like, doesn't have to
Yeah.
be, going to the gym and walking miles on a treadmill. You could do it in your own freaking backyard.
Yeah. I used to, when Evan would have basketball games, he would have like a game at 12 and then the next game wouldn't be till like 3. I'm not going to go
Mhm.
home in between. I would go walk in the parking lot. I did
Yeah.
it all the time.
Hmm. Yeah. Got to just make
Get,
do with what you have.
yeah, get it in when you
Yeah.
can. Doesn't
Yeah.
have to be perfect.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
even if you're working, some of you may not be working from home or, you're working out, whatever, maybe you're commuting. I would do the same. I would make sure that I would park, pretty far from where the train station was so I could walk in the morning. And then when I got into Manhattan, I would walk the however many blocks to my office instead of taking a cab or like another bus or whatever to get those steps in. And it was great. I was walking so much then, even though I was
Yeah.
sitting for hours during the day, but I made sure at the beginning and end of my day, I was moving my ass.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so can you tell us a little bit about, obviously we practice a functional approach with our clients in that we're looking at your diet, your lifestyle, your stress, nervous system.
All
And
the
then
things.
we do some advanced testing. So what do you do personally in terms of functional health? Like what is your approach?
I run labs, like I said, blood work, function, and look at it from a functional lens every quarter. And I do an HTMA every 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no better way to see what's going on in your body. That way, the supplements that I take are targeted. I'm not, and as much as we use supplements, I'm not a huge supplement person. I don't want to take 100 supplements for the rest of my life. I want to take what I need at the
Mhm.
time and then
Yeah.
move on and switch it. So right now I'm taking I upped my magnesium. It changes every 3 to 4 months. So those are the ones that I really do. Occasionally I'll do a GI map just to check in.
Mhm.
Basically my basic labs and HTMA are my go-to.
Yeah.
100%, which is what
Yeah.
we use with clients, and there's a reason for
Exactly.
that.
Exactly.
Those are the tests. That's what's going to give you what you need.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be so freaking complicated. I recently recorded another podcast about this exact thing, just how it seems to be so overcomplicated health, and not the fault of women, but it's because there's so much information out there. And even in the functional health space, like you and I obviously believe in that. That's our philosophy. It has
Mhm.
helped us. However, we also see some of the fault with it in that, I mean, you can end up spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on all of this fancy testing and find everything wrong with you. But at the end of the day, if you're not doing the things that we just listed out, some of these foundations, you're not going to feel better and you will end up probably in debt. We've seen it. I have
Yeah.
seen clients
Oh,
spend, I mean, exorbitant amount of money on their health. And then I look at their diet and I'm like, is anybody talking to you about the lack of protein or fiber that you're getting? And they just look at me like, huh?
yeah. Or that you're not hydrating your body.
Hmm.
It's simple. Detox, food, move your body, try and reduce stress, get some sleep. Those are the basics. If you didn't want to take a single supplement, if you dialed in those basics,
You would
you'd be
feel
in
a
a
lot
much better.
better.
Yeah. I mean, not everyone. Now, of course, that's like a gross generalization,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
because there are people that have health issues, but
Mhm.
the basics still need to be in place.
You can't bypass it, whether you have Lyme or MCAS or histamine intolerance. And these are things that, you know, they do sometimes come up for us. We typically will refer out if it's something more complex or like mold toxicity, for example. That's not our wheelhouse, but we would provide resources and refer you out. But again, we would still be addressing the mineral piece, your circadian rhythm, your stress, because all of that, if that's not dialed in, your symptoms from Lyme, mold, whatever, are going to be that much worse.
Hmm. And your symptoms, or your not symptoms, but your perimenopause transition is also going to be worse. The only other thing that I didn't touch on, which is super important changes that I made, going back to things that I did,
Mhm.
alcohol.
Oh, yes, we forgot about that.
I forgot about that
Minor
one.
detail.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I said it at the beginning when I started to go through perimenopause and not knowing that it was perimenopause, I thought, well, I had a glass of wine, it's going to give me a hot flash, which should have made me think, wow, I need some liver support.
Yeah.
Right. But now, especially being on HRT, alcohol, it's a problem. They don't mix well. Um, that's not to say that I'm not one who has completely cut it. If I go out to a nice dinner, I might have a glass of wine. I might have a
Mhm.
fun cocktail. But I was really big on the mommy wine time culture. Uh, you
Mhm.
know, I would drink a glass of wine or two or three some nights on a Tuesday just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
A lot, you
Yeah.
know. Um, so I've definitely, I don't drink at home unless we have company. If someone opened a bottle, again, like that's it. That's the only time. I mean, I have a little app on my phone. I track it because
You do.
I do. I feel good when I go through a day and I'm like, see, I didn't drink again today. Look at me.
Yeah.
It, it affects you. I mean, and I know, and we have clients and I have friends and everyone talks about it. When you hit perimenopause and menopause, you have those 2 glasses of wine, you are awake at 1, 2 in the morning. You are having hot flashes at 1, 2 in the morning. There's a reason for that. Your body is not super happy. And especially, your liver does so many things. And if you're taking progesterone, it goes through your liver. Like you just want to protect it. So
Yeah. It's like,
if
why
you
add one
can,
more thing to it?
what?
And it's not
Yeah.
actually benefiting you at all, other than the enjoyment of it, which,
Yeah.
yes, I mean,
Right.
listen, it's part of our culture. I used to love my wine every Friday night. That was my thing, like wine with dinner, multiple glasses. And then if we went out on the weekends, whether it's an event or dinner, I would also have something. I enjoy it. It's not that I don't, but when I started my perimenopausal symptoms in my late 30s, I was like, ooh, I don't feel so good with this. Like I wouldn't sleep or I would have really bad dreams or I'd wake up really hot. And it's like, wait a minute. yes, the wine was doing that, but also it's combined with the fact that you are now losing hormones. So those symptoms can be even worse. So,
Yeah.
and then you wake up feeling like shit, for lack of a
I
better
don't have
term.
time to feel like shit in the
Yeah, like who
morning, and
has
I don't want to. Like, I
right.
want to get up and go to the gym. I want to go for a walk. I have stuff to do every single day. Like,
Mhm.
I don't want to feel like that.
No, and
So,
we can't afford to with the work that we do. We are supporting women, and how hypocritical would it be if we both felt like crap all the time and we're
yeah,
telling women to
yeah,
do all this stuff? So,
yeah,
we really do practice what we preach. I do believe that we're realistic. Like she said, like occasionally you have a glass when you go out here or there or on vacation. I mean, Mike and I were just away. I had one drink, but I just didn't really crave it. I'm just like,
yeah,
whatever. We had fun, and there's also so many great mocktails now. Some of them are
yeah,
really lovely. Like they have some really great ingredients. So I almost like find more joy out of trying those.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm more of like, I'd rather like save my calories for dessert, but that's
Yep.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so I want to wrap this up. Thank you so much for your time. But what advice would you give to women who are listening who suspect that they are starting this transition?
Educate yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, no, but really take the time to do the research. We are very good at we're good resources for people, but there's a lot available online. But you have to know what's going on in your body to be able to advocate for yourself. So
Mhm.
education is going to be your friend.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree.
find the support you need, but also know what's happening so that you can get out there and find the proper provider and get the support you need.
Yeah, even just going into a provider to talk about perimenopause or hormones, like just to have the conversation to see what your provider says. If your provider says something like, yeah, you're too young for it, or there's no such thing as perimenopause, or we don't do hormones, or you don't need them, that is your answer right there that that is not a good provider for you. So
Yeah.
move on to the next one. Like, don't even waste
Yeah.
time with that, because if you have to convince somebody to give you hormones, especially particularly if you're a woman over 40, getting close to 50, then that is not a hormone literate provider, and you're just wasting your time. So use your time wisely. Don't hem and haw, and you be confident. Again, we have this podcast, we have great resources. And if you want support from Tonya and myself, then absolutely consider working with us in the perimenopause method. We have helped, gosh, hundreds of women at this point. And they're all on the same path, but everybody is a little different in terms of their unique needs and their life. So we really do try our best to personalize our recommendations, and that's why we do utilize some testing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think knowing that everyone is an individual and the process and this whole thing is going to be so different for everyone. That's why it's important to get personalized support from people who understand what's going on, who have done the research, who understand the testing, what's necessary. We shouldn't be out there floundering around going through it alone trying to figure out what the heck is going on when there are people like us who could help.
Mhm.
And there's so many resources available these days because perimenopause is everywhere right now.
Mhm.
It's a buzzword,
It
right?
is. It is. Perimenopause awareness. I mean, I think it's
Yeah.
good. Like I said earlier, we used to not talk about this, and it was kind of taboo to talk about any sort of symptoms. I mean, one of our clients recently said to me, my mom dealt with anxiety and mood swings, and we didn't know what it was, but she just kind of suffered through it. And how many women suffer through it, and even nowadays women are still suffering through it, which is why we do what we do, and we're trying to put as much information out there to educate and just again to bring some awareness. So ladies, thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Tonya, for being here and
Thank
being
you.
such a wonderful support to myself and our clients. If this resonated with you, check out the links in the show notes to learn more about working with us. And if you know any women who would benefit from this podcast episode, please do share it with them. We so appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week. Hey, before you go, if you're resonating with this podcast and realize that your symptoms are anything but normal, my comprehensive program, the Perimenopause Method, may be a great fit for you. My team and I help women in their mid-30s to early 50s improve symptoms such as fatigue, disrupted sleep, anxiety, erratic moods, bloating, and much more. We do this by utilizing advanced testing, a personalized plan tailored to you, women's health and hormones education, and ongoing support so you never feel alone and you get results. If you're ready to commit to your health and feel like yourself again, but even better, check out the link in the show notes to learn more about the Perimenopause Method. The information provided is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not, nor do I act as a doctor or any other medical professional. I am not providing healthcare, medical services, or attempting to diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure any physical, mental, or emotional disease or condition. The information shared is not intended to be a substitute for the professional medical advice provided by your own medical or mental health provider.